Hey everyone, welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you how to graph a basic ellipse. So we have an equation here, x squared over 9 plus y squared over 4 equals 1. So in this kind of equation, we can look at this is the general form of an ellipse that is centered at the origin, because we just have x squared up here and we just have y squared there. And I'll post another video showing what to do if you have something, else happening with the x squared and or the y squared. But when it looks like this, it's going to be centered at the origin. And we also have a lot of information that's given here. And so we'll analyze that. So if this number is our a squared, that means a equals 3. And if this number is b squared, that means b equals 2. So what do those numbers tell us? Well, the number that's under the x squared, right, the square root of that number under the x squared tells you how far along or how far away from the center that one vertex of the ellipse will be. And then it's also going to be, 3 units away, 1, 2, 3, from the center horizontally, and then 1, 2, 3 units horizontally that way. And then the b, the square root of the number under the y squared, tells us how many units vertically away from the center. So we go up 2 and down 2. And now we can do a rough sketch of our ellipse. Now, a lot of times people are frustrated because it's actually hard to freehand draw something like an ellipse or a circle. But a little hint is you can actually kind of put it in a dotted line, kind of just ghost it in almost. Because if you make any errors here, it's easier to just erase a little bit. And then we can go in and draw that curve, because we want it to be smooth. And we don't want these endpoints to be really pointy. It's not quite a football shape. So, kind of rounded, and I missed that one, but no big deal. I can just tidy that up a bit. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but anyway, you want it to be kind of like that. So now we have our ellipse shape. So we need to label these points, and these points here and here, and the points here and here are going to be the vertices. So each one is a vertex, plural vertices. And you will need to list this when you're doing this problem on a homework assignment or for a test or exam. You will need to list the vertices. So the vertices here are, okay, this point is 3, 0. This point over here is -3, 0. So that's 1, 2 of the 4 vertices. This point up here is 0, 2, and this point is 0, -2, right there. So we list those as well. Now, we're not quite done yet. There's one more thing we need to take into account, and that is the foci. So how do we find the foci? Well, we use a handy equation, c squared equals a squared minus b squared. And so, okay, so c squared, well, we've got our a squared here, 9, minus our b squared, which is 4. So c squared equals 5. Then we take the square root of both sides, and we get c equals plus or minus the square root of 5. So remember, when we're taking a square root, we have to consider a lot of cases we want plus or minus that. So when we find this value for c, well, what does that mean? It means the foci will be located along this major axis. So the major axis is just the longer axis. The foci will be on that longer axis, the major axis, this many units away from the center. So, okay, well, envisioning square root of 5 is a little difficult, right? So to graph that, we want to just use the calculator. So square root of 5 is about 2.24. So it's about plus or minus 2.24. So that's going to be 1, 2, and a little over 2, 1, 2, and a little over 2. So these are our foci points, and we need to list those as well as graph them. So that will be square root of 5, 0, and negative square root of 5, 0. And I'll put that right there. So, and I know that's really small, sorry, but that's where the foci are located. And again, you just want to use a calculator to get an idea of what that is. But when you list those, please use the radical form, not the decimal form. And that is our complete answer. We've got our graph, we've got our points labeled, we have our vertices listed, and we have our foci listed. So that is the basic version of graphing an ellipse. If you have any questions, examples you'd like to see worked through on this channel, just leave a note in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching.